produce a lot of guests, which is very exciting. But today is September 4th, and we are very excited to see you. We're going to take a moment for silent reflection and meditate, pray, whatever we need to do. Okay, we're going to do our flag salute and four-way test. Whitney Chandler has the flag salute, and Steve Warren has the four-way test. Whitney, take it away. Just a reminder that we do record our meetings for our YouTube channel, which is Norman Rotary Club. So if you want to go back and watch, or you have friends that want to watch, you can help them find our YouTube channel. September, welcome to September. I can't believe we're this far in the year, but this is an exciting month for us. The area of focus for September is basic education and literacy, which is something near and dear to our hearts in this club. We do a lot to promote literacy in our public schools, so just wanted to be aware. Okay, we have lots of guests, so Whitney, you want to introduce someone?
Hello, I brought my dad, Steve Graham, with me today. Steve and my mom, Jennifer, have lived in Norman for a very long time. He's a retired Baptist minister, but he's currently the interim here at First Christian. And so his office is right over there, so I said you should come and join us.
Very easy. Okay, Kathleen Holland.
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I've been a member here for a very long time. But I'm here today with my husband, Martin Howard, who's a retired dentist. He's been back in Norman since 2011.
Great to see you. Leanne Shin has guests.
I'm thrilled to welcome Phil O'Neill here. Phil is the newest member of the Norman Sports Visit Norman team. Phil has taken over as our event coordinator. He'll be in charge of the Criterion Bike Race, the half marathon, Sports Hall of Fame banquets, things like that. So Phil comes to us by way of OU, where he was the director of the spirit sponsors. So welcome, Phil.
Okay, Andy Rieger, I really don't know that your guests need much of an introduction, but we're really happy to see them, so tell us who's here.
So James and I were at an event one time, and we were having to spell our names for the people, and James said, you know, we used to be somebody. So today I have James Chappell, former president, and former Rotary First Lady, Claudia Chappell.
Okay, and Kevin Hopper, guest. I'm just making Stephen around over here, I'm so sorry, didn't coordinate that better.
Hello, my guest today is Austin Carroll with First Bank. He's proud of making sure. Good luck, Austin.
Thank you. We have a visiting Rotary, Mary Scalee. She's been providing the beautiful music that we were, it's such a treat to hear. We don't really have that, so. Okay, we have missed any other guests? No? Okay. Then let's do some announcements. Going around are two cards, one for Gail Wilcox, one for Pam Andrew. Pam had some surgery about a week ago. Gail is still having to be in a rehab facility. She's been under the weather for quite some time now. So anyway, I know Doan does a great job of sending our sunshine cards, but I figured these could warrant a few extra. So if you don't mind signing a card, that'd be great. And then also going around, because I only have one of them, are t-shirt order forms. Many of you have seen the Be the Good shirt. Images are attached to the order form. It's a Russell Hampton shirt that you can order, but we had Norman Rotary added to it, and we're we're going local. Oscillator Press is helping us with that. So if you would like a Rotary t-shirt, generic, I mean, you can wear it anywhere, that'd be great. Promote Rotary. There's that one, it's $25, and then the Rotary Readers shirt, if you want one of those, you don't even have to be a reader, you could just promote what we do. Those are $20, also going around. If you don't get that to your table, please see Jamie Swain at the end, she'll have the order forms. Okay. District training, district assembly, is September 27th in Ada. That's usually been in April, so that's a change this year. But we would really like for you to attend if you are interested. Anyone can go. In fact, we definitely need 2 from our club there. They are doing the district grant training, and that's going to be really important so that we can continue to apply for district grants. So if you are curious about that, would you please see me or Stephen or Kyle Hurley? I think I saw Kyle come in. Yes. So anyway, we'd love to see you there. I cannot attend, Jamie cannot attend, so we need a couple people to be there in our place. So, and speaking of district grants, I just want to let you all know that our club did apply for a district grant this past year. We applied for the funds to provide a book vending machine to Jackson Elementary School. We were awarded our funds, and that order has been placed. So Jackson Elementary, courtesy of Norman Rotary Club, is getting a book vending machine. Very exciting. They're very excited. I want to thank Jamie for actually putting together that grant. So, okay. Rachel Swanson, it is time to make you official. Okay, ready? Okay. On behalf of the members of Norman Rotary, I'm delighted to extend a warm welcome to our newest member, Rachel Wyatt Swanson. Joining Rotary is not just about becoming a member of our club, it's about becoming part of a global community dedicated to making a positive difference in the world. As Rotarians, we uphold the values of service, integrity, diversity, and leadership. We are united in our commitment to improving lives locally and globally through our various service projects and initiatives. Rachel, we are excited to have you join us on this journey of service and fellowship. Your unique skills, experiences, and perspectives will enrich Norman Rotary and contribute to our collective efforts to create lasting change. As you embark on your Rotary journey, you will have the opportunity to connect with fellow members, participate in meaningful projects, and engage in activities that align with your passions and interests. We encourage you to take full advantage of all that Rotary has to offer and share your ideas and aspirations with us. Once again, Rachel, welcome to Norman Rotary. We are thrilled to have you as part of our Rotary family, and we look forward to working together to make a positive impact in our community and beyond. Welcome. Okay, we are very lucky to have George Henderson as our guest speaker today, and Ms. Lynn Weber is going to introduce him. Come on up.
It's my honor to introduce Dr. George Henderson. Thank you. It's my honor to introduce to you Dr. George Henderson. He's a highly distinguished figure at the University of Oklahoma and a civil rights pioneer in higher education. He became one of OU's first full-time African-American faculty members in 1967. Over his career, he founded the university's Department of Human Relations and was later appointed the first African-American dean of a degree-granting college for the Norman campus. Dr. Henderson is the author of numerous books and articles focused on human relations and cultural diversity. Please help me welcome Dr. George Henderson.
to say, so little time to say it, but God was willing. I have an opportunity to say a few things. You initially asked me to speak on Juneteenth, June 19th. That was when the Emancipation Proclamation was told to the people in Texas. The Emancipation Proclamation did not free us. It stopped us from being enslaved. We could not, after the Emancipation Proclamation, many years, eat in predominantly white restaurants. We could not live in certain communities like Norman. We could not attend schools with predominantly white students. Now I could go on and on and on, but it did give us opportunities. And that's what I want to focus on now. Juneteenth gave us opportunities, me, to move from the two garages that I lived in as a child to a rodent, rat-infested apartment in East Chicago, Indiana. It gave me an opportunity to drink water that was not fit for human beings. It gave me an opportunity to live with roaches, rats, and bed bugs. It gave me an opportunity to have teachers tell me, or my mother, George is not a slow learner, he's a no learner. But it gave me an opportunity to prove that she was wrong. What is freedom? Freedom for us is, and incidentally, I have to say in all honesty, often when black people talk about freedom, we talk about blacks only. We forget the white individuals who indeed were supporting of freedom for enslaved people. We forget that. We forget that most of the members of the NAACP were white. We forget that most of the people who started the Urban League were white. So it's appropriate that I speak to you about opportunities. I hear voices. My wife says I should be committed. I hear songs. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. I hear voices. I too sing America. I'm a darker brother. You send me to the kitchen to eat when company, come by, laugh, and get well and go strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table then, and nobody will say to me in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am. I too am America. I hear things. I see things. I can't begin to tell you what it was like growing up with just the opportunity to take my mother and father out of poverty, which was not an option for children before the Emancipation Proclamation. I can't tell you what it was like to have white students in Detroit, Michigan, when I was an adjunct professor at Wayne State and director of community services at the Detroit Urban League, to have them go south as freedom riders, 3 of them white students. It gave me an opportunity to go to communities and say, you should desegregate. It gave me an opportunity to dream, to believe. And it gave me an opportunity to tell my children, there's only one race that's significant, and that's the human race. When we moved to Norman, Oklahoma, I was a hypocrite. I taught desegregation in housing, but my family always lived in predominantly black neighborhoods. Yes, but I had students who did. I taught theory, but I didn't live those theories. We had to come here. We had to come to this place to make George Henderson an authentic civil rights activist. We had to come to this place that initially didn't want black people living here. Hey, we came for dinner and we stayed. But truth be told, it was never my decision to come here. The voice said, you have a doctorate. You were the 13th black person in America to have a doctorate in education and sociology. You could go anywhere. You could go to the most prestigious universities in the United States. 1965, I got my degree. 1967, I decided I wanted to teach. But the voice said, go to Oklahoma and listen to Professor Richard Hilbert tell you about the opportunities. I had no intention of, I wanted a vacation. I came to see the Indians in the football stadium. And the voice laughed at me. And I did something why did I do that? I said, I will come to Oklahoma if you provide me with 2 hours of free time with students. Why did I say that? And the students said, Dr. Henderson, we need you, we want you. We've never had a professor who indeed had lived in an urban area and been involved in civil rights, but our professors talk about it, but they've never lived it. You have. You know Martin Luther King Jr., you know Malcolm X, and you know the other leaders of the civil rights movement. We need you here. And I smiled. And I said to myself, not in your lifetime. Another said, if you come here, you will be a whale. If you go to those other universities, you'll be just a catfish, a small, small creature. Come to Oklahoma, and I smiled. I had the largest lecture interview of any professor who ever was interviewed for a job. Faculty members, administrators from every college came to hear George Henderson talk about the race riot in Detroit in 1967. They never got around to asking me questions about my academic abilities and thoughts and beliefs. But we talked about the race riot and I was disappointed. I wanted to tell them, I wish you could have had the experience during the riot that I had when my youngest, we were looking out the window, the grocery store behind us was burning. And she said, Daddy, why are they burning and shooting? And I looked at her and I didn't have an answer. And I decided then that we would leave Detroit. We would leave Detroit and go to pick one, Princeton, Southern Cal, pick one. Offers from all of them. But no, here I was listening to students saying, we need you. And the voice said, they need you. And on a whim, I thought, it wasn't a whim, I didn't have a choice. I said, okay, I'll sign the contract. When I told Barbara that I had agreed to come to Oklahoma, she looked at me. Whenever Barbara's pissed at me, she stopped talking. She said, but I thought we had an agreement. You said you were going to see Indians in the football stadium where Curtis Scott was going up and down. And that was going to be your vacation. And when you came back, you said we were going to visit those other universities. What happened? And I said, God happened. Yes. The Emancipation Proclamation gave me an opportunity to have people say, we don't want you in this neighborhood. But others say, we're glad you're here. The Emancipation Proclamation had me experience police officers ask me why I was in the neighborhood. It gave me an opportunity to pick the garbage off the lawn before my children woke up. It gave me an opportunity to tell them, don't answer the telephone because obscene calls were coming in at all hours. But it also gave me an opportunity to tell them, go to the playground and make friends. Yeah. The Emancipation Proclamation freed me to have opportunities to come to this place, this sacred place I refer to it. Prove yourself, it said. Prove that you can talk about more than anticipatory socialization and relative deprivation and cognitive dissonance. Prove that you can talk about people and living and experiences in love. Yes, that L word. I fell in love with my students the first time that I saw them. And I heard Roberta Flack singing the first time ever I saw your face. That's how I felt about my students, my love. It gave me an opportunity to hear students say, Dr. Henderson, you're a wonderful teacher, you're a fine person. We heard that you're thinking about leaving after a year. I said, I'm thinking about it, and one asked, why are you leaving? Don't you like us? Of course I like them, I love them. And I promised those students I would never leave Oklahoma to teach because I had the best students that I thought I could ever find in the irregular. But I would leave for administrative experiences because my initial dream, as I told my mentor, was to be a president of a historically black college. And when that opportunity came, Barb and I moved to New Orleans. We visited that beautiful campus and building. And they loved us. They loved Barbara more than me, I'm sure. And before we signed the contract, the chairperson of the board said, oh, we forgot to ask you, how many children do you have? Barbara said 7. She said, oh, God. The president's house will only accommodate 3 or 4 children at most. And the president and his family must live on campus. Barbara was crestfallen, and I was too. In our hotel, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and said, Barbara, God allowed me to screw myself out of the presidency. Too many children. There was a message there somewhere. And the last job opportunity that I turned down was the University of Minnesota. They wanted me as senior vice president in charge of student affairs and the athletic department. I was the first one at the interview. And the committee said, we want you. I said, but aren't you going to interview the other 2 people who said, yes, but we want you? I told Barbara, 4 years after my first interview going away, she didn't say anything. She said, ask the children what they think about this. We told our children that we might be moving to Minnesota. They had a meeting. We had 1 son and 6 daughters, and George Jr., the oldest, spoke for them. He said, Mom, Dad, you can go to Minnesota. We're staying here and keeping our house in Norman. They found friends here. They found love here. They couldn't imagine living anywhere else. They had done what their father was telling other people to do. They had desegregated. No, they had integrated a community. And then there was Barbara. I remember her telling me, George I thought we had this conversation this Minnesota Day. Didn't I tell you that I did not pack up our children and come to Detroit to unpack them and go somewhere else until we're ready to move? I didn't say anything. She said, let me ask you this. Will you be able to teach at the University of Minnesota? And I said, not for a while. The problems are deep. Maybe in 2 or 3 years I'll be able to get back to teaching. And she asked me, will you be happy not teaching? I said, no. She said, you have to ask. You're a teacher, live with it. You love teaching, you do it well. She's right. I came to this place, and I found out that the classroom for me was the ability to create communities. The rules are simple in my class. Everyone here belongs in here. There are no stupid ideas. We will be polite, we will ask questions, but we will always be nonviolent. And they smile, and one of them says, well, is there anything else, sir? I said, I'll tell you when I think about it. All of my classes, every single one, from 1967 until when I finally stopped teaching last year. The comments. We found our happy place in your classroom. Well, I found my happy place in the community and the university. I was an authentic community activist. I had an opportunity with Ada Law, Scipio Fisher, Clara Luper, and the others, and Jimmy Stewart, I can go on and on and on, to do things throughout Oklahoma that would allow those communities to open up. I was a voice, and I spoke my truth, and people listened throughout Oklahoma. I was able to go to the rural parts of Oklahoma and say, you better get ready because the Hispanics are coming. And they looked at me and he said, well, this is food. They came. But before they came, I taught them that you must accept them, you must respect them, and you must protect them, and you must love them. I was the first major speaker for the Indian Student Organization at the University of Oklahoma. And after 2 major speeches, I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. There are other indigenous people who can also speak. You must let them speak your truth. And they did. I had opportunities here that I didn't have before. I had opportunities to meet people. And never in my life, I'll be honest, had I ever told anyone other than my 5th grade teacher, who was white, that I love you. She was the only one because she believed in me. Miss Johnson taught me to believe in myself. And she helped me to learn, to read, and to speak my truth. And she did a lot of things for me. And she was the only one who came to my high school graduation because my parents had to work. And she gave me my first graduation gift, $20. And when she gave me the $20, she did what she had done most of the 5th grade. She had us to sing "This Little Light of Mine." She gave me the $20 and said, you're my little light, now go shine. Go to Michigan State and show them what you can do. I had to do it here. I had to shine here. I had to believe here. And yes, I had to find love here in masses. I love my students, and gradually I love the people in the community. I had to come here at this day, and I say this with great sorrow, The Hendersons had to show people that going to a community is one thing, being an integral part of it is something else again, and all of us will be involved. Barbara, our children, all of us were involved in the community. So this is our teaching ground, our proving ground. I think of things about that. I think of George Jr.'s memorial service after he passed. We had representatives from 2 different tribes in Oklahoma. They came to memorialize their brother. Well, George had gone to sweat lodges and to stomp dances. He'd been all over Oklahoma because he had become Indian. At least he thought he was, and they believed he was. So they spoke for their brother. That was love. That was diversity. That was integration. That was equality. All rolled up into behaviors. Oh gosh. The Emancipation Proclamation provided us with opportunities. Now remember, we couldn't vote after the Emancipation Proclamation. We couldn't live in white areas after the Emancipation Proclamation. We had very few rights, but we had a hell of a lot of opportunities if we dared to take advantage of them. And we dared. We dared. I stand here. I spent more time of my life in Norman, Oklahoma than I thought I would ever spend in a retirement like anything. This is home. I wasn't soon bred and born, but God willing, I'll be a dead sooner. Emancipate the students, free them to live together, to laugh together, to cry together, to grow together. That's what happened to my children. And one more story about Barbara, the first chairperson of the Norman Human Rights Commission that desegregated employment and housing in this area. Who would have thought that would happen? Now in Norman, the folks around here said, you must be kidding me. Barbara and Dick Reynolds, the co-chair, did exactly that. They desegregated housing and employment. Barbara became an integral part of this community long before I did. People knew me, and I was referred to as Barbara's husband around here. Truthfully. And in other areas, she was referred to as George's wife. So we were Mr. Outside and Mrs. Inside. I'll never forget Jack Black, the president of the largest bank in Norman, came to me one day and he says, I want you to buy some stock. I said, I don't have any money. He says, don't worry about it. It's a one-pay deal. Buy the stock. I said to myself, so this is how they're going to get rid of me. He's going to give me a loan. He's going to call it in. I can't pay. We'll have to leave. 3 weeks, he said, buy the stock. 3 weeks, I said, I'm thinking about it. I didn't buy the stock. It was where a student fashion mall is now. I was in Germany teaching. And Jack called my wife. He said, Barbara, you got a deal for you, George. Where? She says, he's in Germany. He says, can I talk to you about it? She said, yes. We're starting a Norman television corporation. Would you like me to buy some stock in it? She says, what's the deal? He says, it's one pay. I'll, on paper, give you the money. You have the shares. She did it. They sold the stock, and to this day, Barbara will not tell me how much money she made on that deal. She said, anybody foolish enough to turn down the first offer doesn't deserve to know how much I made on the second offer. And my children, my mother, Barbara's mother lived with us the last 10 years of her life. And shortly after she passed, my mother came to live with us the last 10 years of her life. And our children had their grandmother share. And my mother said something that I will never forget. We had a family portrait made, and there were the children, Barbara and me, and there were our children, and then there were our children's children. And she was looking at the picture and she was crying. She says, "Look at these beautiful multiracial babies." She says, "I never thought our family would look like this." We were America. We were living what George Henderson started out telling people should at least try. Had to come here, had to be here, had to see you, had to say to you, on behalf of all of the people who welcomed us, who gave us support, thank you. Thank you is inadequate. Love, love, love. We talked about love in the civil rights movement, but we didn't live it. We never had an opportunity to be a leader of anything during that movement. Baron Rustin, a gay man, never had an opportunity to be front stage senator. He was the architect of the movement. We didn't live it. We never had an opportunity to provide. We had an opportunity. We never let a person with a disability, visible disability, be a leader. We didn't live it. But talk about it. My students are all of those people, and they shined. And I say to each of them what Miss Johnson said to me, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." And all of you are shining, 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 shining truth. Shine honesty, shine courage, shine, shine, shine. Yes, Juneteenth. Melvin, he told to the juniors, the first African-American full-time professor of French, was my dearest and first friend. He passed and I was responsible for his affairs. His cremation and his burial where his parents are buried. And I remember Melvin saying, "George, before you came, we had no voice. You've been that voice." And I remember Melvin saying, "I think we did something right, didn't we?" And you know, there's an irony in all of this. Before he passed, Melvin could barely speak, and I bent over and he says, "I love you, brother." When my mother passed, those words again, "I love you, son." This place humanized me. And it gave me an opportunity to be not only to be humanized, but to be humane. You represent the possibilities. Take advantage of them. Pass the love. I don't know how much longer I will live, but I regret not a minute, not a microsecond of being able to meet people like you. And all of our children felt the same way. Those who passed, the 7 who passed, of the 5 of the 7 who passed, and those who are still living. It's here. is us. It's now. Let's be humane. Thank you.
We are so honored to have you here today. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes.
May I just say one thing? If this is inspired, I would highly recommend that you get the book. Talking about Grace University. If you want to see firsthand in your own privacy of your home and really find out about this incredible treasure we have in Norman, I highly recommend you get that book and read it. It is on my bookshelf at home, and I wouldn't take a thing for it. Thank you, my dear friend, George Henderson.
We have time for about 1 or 2 questions, if you're okay with that, Dr. Henderson? Okay. Andy Reader.
George, in that book, Race in the University, you talk about it seemed that every negative action against you and your family was followed by a positive reaction. Can you expand on that?
2 times more positive. Because there were people in Norman, they didn't dislike us, they just didn't know us. And they were indifferent to us. There were people in Norman who wanted us to be here. They thought, they didn't know. Most Normanites were indifferent to us because they had no opportunity to live with us. The few indeed who were negative were very vocal. But the ones who indeed came to our houses and they gave us food, they gave us conversations, they gave us everything, they gave us love, they were here. And it's almost as if the voice had said to them, he's coming. And when he arrives, welcome him, and they did. I found love here for white people, true love that I had never found in Detroit or Indiana. Here. That's what I meant about that. The faculty members, oh God, I'm looking and I think about Jerry Weber. No, don't let me go on with this. And the others. I found brothers. I'm an only child. And in Norman, Oklahoma, I found brothers from another mother. And we loved each other. And we miss each other. Too many are gone. David Levy, David Ward, I could go on. I found those here, as you know. I found you. You found me. And as Roberta Flack sang, so let there be love. And we let there be love. And for the first time in my life, I experienced true love that wasn't sexual, true love that was communal, true love that was caring. So I knew that wherever I was, I had a friend. Winter, spring, summer, fall. And all I had to do was call. And they would come. That's what I meant. I found the meaning of us. I use a lot of I words before coming here. When I talk about my community, I use a lot of we and us. There is no we and I. We're here. I found us. And the voice said to me, well done, George. And I'll be honest. After we lost our seventh child, I prayed, I said, take me. And the voice finally said, soon, my friend, soon. And then I think of the memories. I think of the good times. I think of the bad times. I think of the struggles and the successes. And always there was love.
That seems like a great way to wrap this up. Governor, now, please. Dr. Henderson. Thank you. I want to thank our guests, our visiting Rotarian, Mary, if she's still here. We had a lot of guests, Steve, Martin, Phil, Jim, Claudia, and I apologize if I missed anyone out, or if I left anyone out. And our newest member, give her a hand, Rachel Swanson. Campus Team 1, you're up next week, September 10th. And tomorrow is Read a Book Day, so you have a great suggestion from Ron Burton, Racine University. So if you need a book, go get that one. Let's go out and make it a great week. Thank you for being here.